Greetings, infinite blessings, and welcome to another episode of Midday Mindfulness, the spiritual podcast. My name is Kaine Stromberg, the Cosmic Surfer, and it is my absolute honor and privilege to be able to share with you the information that I have collected through my life's experiences thus far, as well as that gifted to me by Source. Today we're going to talk all about light and darkness, the elements of light and dark, the frequency or vibration of which they embody, and then bring into creation in the world around us, and the importance of that which you focus upon, knowing that you are the creator of it all, as we go about co-creating this beautiful experience that we call life. So if you're listening to this, it's because you are a spiritual being. First of all, every time we label something, such as being spiritual, we then limit whatever it is that we have classified within that label to that label. To say somebody is bad or something is dark, then limits it to only being seen as bad or dark. Remembering that in the darkness is where we often discover the hidden treasures that reside there. And without any darkness, not only would we not have somewhere for the light to be able to shine within, you wouldn't be able to see the stars at night, but you would not have a understanding or comprehension of the light. If there was nothing to relate it to, then it would be meaningless. The yin and the yang. Behind me there is a yin and yang, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine. Darkness in the light and light in the dark, each one completing the other. And in truth, before we go any further, this episode is titled The Final Battle, because it's truth and realization, or the embodiment and utilization of information that will bring us into liberation. There is no battle. There is no war. It's all part of the illusion that we have created for ourselves to keep ourselves locked within this continual and everlasting journey or experience, the game that we call life. When it comes to completion, it just starts again. I myself have completed the game in the past, and I have come back to guide and inspire, to shine my light, to share my truth, and to help each of my brothers and sisters who are newly awakening, as well as those that are further down the rabbit hole, if you like, as I know you are. If you're listening to this, it's because you are awake. And again, to classify yourself as awake means that you are classifying another as being asleep. And if you classify or label or cast a opinion upon somebody that they are asleep, then guess what? They will always show you that truth, because it is all a truth. It's all truth, as well as none of it being true at all at the same time. The yin and the yang, the light and the dark, part of the same thing, part of the same whole, the universe in completion. So, to know that I am a universal being of unlimited power, knowledge, and potential means that not only am I part of the universe, but the universe is part of me. A single droplet of water, appearing separate in form, especially if it has become fully disconnected from the ocean and in a different circumstance or environment has become frozen, or even turn into steam. Steam does not look like water, nor does ice. But if you melt a piece of ice by returning it back to the body of water that it originated from, then lo and behold, it's part of that same water. And just as we can discover through meditation that not only am I a single droplet of water, but I am the entire ocean in completion, you can then journey back to that truth and know that there is nothing outside of yourself that does not start within. The yin and the yang, the light and the dark, they are not at war. They are not battling one another because they are the same self. But I hear you say, but there's conflict. There is repression. There is separation, isolation, victimization. There's all sorts of fucking horrible shit going on around the world. How can you say that there is no battle? Well, my friend, my brother, my sister, the truth is that by focusing on the fact that there is a war, we are creating that war. The conflict within is then escalated and reflected to the conflict outside. A hatred for war will only create hatred and war. It is a love for peace that will actualize love and peace. That is it. There is no other way. And the yin and the yang, again, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, look at them like this. Not as though there are forces of darkness that wish to destroy the light, and that there are forces of light that are repressed by the darkness and doing all they can to come to a place of salvation and liberation for themselves and the universe as a whole. But there is the masculine in his black wedding suit and the feminine in her beautiful white flowing wedding dress. And they are locked in embrace, an eternal embrace, the eternal dance that we call the universe, that we call life, that we experience as creation, that we co-create together. Knowing that in the dark there is light, and in the light there is dark. In the masculine there is feminine, in the feminine there is masculine. In the good there is bad, bad there is good, etc. And they are locked in an internal embrace, dancing rhythmically, playfully and majestically together forever, to the time or the point or the place where the dance is done, back to unity one, for it all to be forgotten and rediscovered once again, for the big bang to come into completion, for us to forget who we are, to separate again, to then discover the truth, then back into unity one we go. It is incredibly important at this moment in time that you focus on the positivity and optimism in every single situation and every single person. The greatest trick or illusion that was cast, so say the Bible, is that the devil convinced people he did not exist. The greatest trick that the Bible ever created was the illusion that God is some all-powerful being that sits aloft you within a heaven that is in the clouds, looking down upon you, judging you, and that below you there is the devil who wants to trap you and keep you, to own your soul for eternity. The angel and the devil, God and the devil, that sit upon your shoulders, whispering into your ears, trying to guide you of one of two ways, left or right, up or down, in or out. They're the same entity. They're the same two parts of the whole. They are you. The yin and the yang, the light and the dark. It is you. It is all you. The universe in completion. You are either universe in completion, creating it all, co-creating it all, simultaneous to experiencing it, or none of it. You can't be a creator one moment and then a victim the next. You can't be the universe in completion and then subjected to negative entities outside of yourself. You can't say that I create my reality and then the next moment need to go and pray to God or ask an angel for guidance or support, because that angel is you, just as God is you, as you are it. Just as the devil is you, as you are it. It's all or nothing. This fundamental truth is what has brought me into a full acceptance and realization of my potential. has been incredibly, incredibly heavy recently. 2021 has been a very peculiar year. In the UK, we are now allowed to go and congregate with other people outside of our bubbles. We're allowed to go out to restaurants as long as we sit outside and as long as we cover our faces through the projection of control and conformism that we are all putting upon, that I do not personally entertain, let's say, but that many do. So for me, to have a date in mind where there's complete freedom, Freedom Day in the UK, I can't help but feel that they are going to wait just till the last moment and then say, oh, sorry, people, but you messed it up. This is on you. Knowing that it's all your choice. And that any time that we allow something, we are actually choosing it. To allow for something to take place means that you are choosing it. You are choosing to ignore that there is something taking place that is less than beneficial, let's say, around the world, and just going about mindlessly or mindfully even choosing to ignore it. So what do? Do we focus on the negativity and try to change it? Or do we focus on the positivity and try to grow that? Again, it's all balance. Focus on what you can change and change that, because that keeps you in a place of ownership, of creativity. And there is always two sides to every coin, two perspectives, two directions. In truth, there is infinite perspectives and directions, just as there is infinite versions of me. And something that I was gifted that very few people I have shared it with have had the ability to fully understand and embody is the truth that everything exists. If there is something that you are fearful of experiencing in the future and you focus your light of attention upon it as though you were the mighty sun, and in the garden of your mind, you focus on that weed that you do not wish to experience, then guess what you're going to grow? Not the flowers, hey? If you imagine yourself as a vessel, as a boat, to your left, there is a beautiful, open, expansive scenery. And to your right, there is some jagged rocks that you know if you crash into, it will sink you. Focus on the left, and then you travel towards the left. Beautiful. Focus on the right. Which direction, again, are you then turning and guiding yourself towards? The right. The truth is, it is important to be aware of the thing that exists, to know that there are forces that wish to repress us and control us and separate us is beneficial. But then to focus on that repression, separation, and victimization, to lower yourself into that feeling of being victimized and I'm not in control and I'm not the creator, then puts you in that position. You've played right into their hands. And this isn't to condemn you, because I have done it myself. That is why I am creating today's episode today, because literally the last few weeks have been incredibly heavy. I've been journeying to the very, very deepest and darkest place within the cave, within the internal cave, coming back out into the light. Yesterday was absolute euphoria and bliss. And today has been one of those turbulent days once again. But knowing that I'm able to surf those waves, as we are all cosmic surfers, means that we can enjoy the experience, the ups and downs, the twists and turns, knowing that without an up, there is no down, and without a down, there is no up to enjoy or experience the other side of it. So when we focus upon the fact that there is positivity, then that is what we see. When we focus on the fact there is negativity, that is what we see. There's a very, very fine balance here. And the greatest way, or the easiest way for me to explain it once again, is the way I was shown it, which again returns back to that boat, that vessel. On the left is your salvation, your liberation, the direction of your choosing. On the right, there is the jagged rocks. Focus upon the left, steering your vessel towards it accordingly. Journeying along, looking to the right. Okay, there's rocks over there. I'm mindful of that. And I'm aware that they're there. Because if you ignore the fact that there are rocks there, then if there is something such as a side wind, which now actually comes along and starts to blow you from the side towards those rocks, if you have ignored the fact they're there, then again, even if you're focused on the positivity to the left, the winds of life will blow you into the rocks, sinking you to the very depth of the ocean. And it will take you as long as it takes you to be able to resurface. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, it could be an entire lifetime or several lifetimes until you are ready to re-emerge and accept your decision or your choice to ignore what actually brought your demise. So what do we do? Thank you. We focus on that which we wish to experience, and we change that which we wish or are able to change. Focus on the left, travel towards the left, but be mindful of the rocks to your right. When the winds of life blow you from the side, which they will, you will get side winds. If you're traveling in a straight direction towards your chosen destination, and that being very masculine, if you only say straight lined and the winds of life blow you from the side, again, they will blow you in a straight line straight into those rocks. By being aware the rocks are there and knowing that then there is something else outside of you that you have no control over, such as the wind, such as somebody else or something else, some corporation or organization, some government body or person that has a appearance of control over you. To try to change the government now is a waste of time. To change each person along the journey that you meet as you're walking your path, each person you come into contact with, you smile and you enrich and uplift in their day. And then they do the same until, hang on, everybody is more connected and in a state of euphoria and bliss and love once again. It's using the winds of life to your benefit. So once again, focusing on the left, ignoring the rocks to your right, the winds of life will crush you and smash you into the rocks, taking you to your demise. When the winds of life start to blow you off course, if you are mindful of this, and this is almost micromanaging every moment of the day, which again, you can actually cast and so what's the right way of saying this? I have various parts of me that I task with different roles. And then my conscious mind can just continue to do whatever is present in this given moment. There's parts of me off manifesting, materializing different things in all area of places. And I will come back to the hack, the trick that I was gifted for the full acceptance of everything, to then allow for a focus back on that which we wish to experience in a moment. So with the rocks, you use the winds of life to your advantage. They start to blow you from the side towards the rocks. So you change course. You then focus on the rocks and you actually then look past the rocks for even further to the right. You then change your course of direction towards the rocks and then actually use the winds that are now behind you, propelling you forwards that would otherwise have been your reason of demise. You use those winds to catapult you towards the rocks, steering yourself true further to the right-hand side and directing yourself around the rocks, catapulting yourself around the rocks. On the back side of the jagged rocks, as we're using as an example, there is a treasure to be found that you would otherwise never have found. And then once you have taken that part of your journey, twisting and turning, allowing for a change of direction, which is very feminine, very surrenderant, very free-flowing, we can then utilize every single opportunity and experience in life to our advantage. The fact that there is elements, again, of repression and separation, control and conformism that wish to put us in boxes, bubbles of safety, to cover our faces of expression, to keep us separate so we can't communicate or connect with one another. Can you not see, my sisters and brothers, that this is to our advantage? Without somebody outside themselves to blame for their issues, people have started to actually look within, to go, okay, so maybe it's not my boss's fault that I hate my job. Maybe it's just the fact that it's not who I am. It's not in accordance with the vibration of my being. I am here to be creative, to sit behind a desk and type away day after day is not who I am. It's not why I'm here. To separate people from one another makes people be more appreciative of the connections that they have to their family, to their friends. To take away the ability to travel on holiday, let's say, means that people are being more grateful and exploring the natural surroundings of where they are, starting to take more care of their community, of their neighbors, of the environment around them. It's all positive. And when we focus and look for the positivity, we realize that the light will always win. Again, there is no battle. It is just an eternal dance. But if you have a room full of darkness, it only takes one candle to illuminate that room. There's no amount of darkness that you can further add to the room that will extinguish that light. The light will burn bright as long as there is fuel to burn it. Source energy is the fuel. You are the candle, burning your light, shining your love out around you. Again, no further amount of darkness added will extinguish the light. Yet by you igniting another candle, by you sparking and inspiring another soul, by reminding somebody of who they are, by being their support system, their beacon of light and inspiration, by igniting another candle, you further illuminate the room. It doesn't extinguish your light. It doesn't take away from your fuel. It further illuminates the room. And as we continue to awaken around the globe through the desire that they have to control and separate us, knowing that they are we, that person over there is me. Again, the angel and the devil, God and the devil. I am love as I am hate, or I am none of it. I am it all in completion, or none at all. By being able to accept every single character in this game, knowing that it's my game and that I create it for me, that's what changed it. I have become slightly separate to this truth. Let's say twice in the last few days, I've been reminded of how powerful I am in my ability to manifest. I went out with Jessie, apologies, Jess, my girlfriend, at the weekend for the first time in I don't know how long. We went to a local bar, let's say. Upon going down, because of the fact that neither of us are part of the conformism group of society, neither of us wear masks. I was then getting caught up in my mind, my ego, with a sense of worry, fear, again, fear, which is an illusion. I was fearful of walking down there and being told, you have to wear a mask or you can't come in. And then I was like, hang on a second, this is my fucking game. Why would I want to play a level where I get dressed up to go out for a nice evening with my girlfriend and then I'm not allowed to go into the venue that I've chosen to go to? Why the fuck would I do that? This is my game. Okay, straight in. There won't be any queue. We'll go straight in. Nobody will even question the mask and it will be brilliant and beautiful. What happened? Lo and behold, we go to the venue where the week before there was a queue around the block, walk straight in, greeted with smiles by the people wearing the shields as opposed to masks. But you can still see when somebody's smiling behind their mask because The eyes are the window to the soul, and the eyes never lie. And then the amazing, amazing gentleman who met us, Richard, who I then spoke to at the end of the night, and he was blown away that I remembered his name. And I said to him, I've made a purpose of doing so because you were so polite and warming and inviting when we arrived. He meted us and greeted us and took us around, showed us what to do, got us the best table possible. And the whole experience was incredibly enjoyable. Everybody looked at us like, who are these people? Two people coming in together without a mask? Ooh. To the point where it was very confusing. Every time somebody stood up from their table to go to the toilet, because everything is brought to the table otherwise, they would put a mask on. Yet we're walking around quite freely. I was having a nose. I have another side project, a side company, mobile phone charging units that I do with a friend, and we have some units down there. So I went and checked them, and I went and had a look about, and just catching the vibe of the place, which was quite quiet and secluded. But there we go. So that reminded me that, hang on, what the fuck am I doing getting caught up in this illusion of fear, of control, of a potential future where we're all vaccinated and implemented with chips that monitor what we do and where we go, and that at a flick of a switch, if we upset the people at the top, that they can just cut us out of society. And then again, obviously, the human self, the biological self, fears for its survival, because if we become outcast from our tribe, from our society, then we're more likely to perish. And yes, hundreds of years ago, especially thousands of years ago, if your tribe outcast you, you'd probably go off into the wilderness and die. Not now. And anyway, this is my tribe. It's all here. Again, everything or nothing. And then today, without going into too much of a detailed depth, there has been lots of corporations that are very, very difficult to have any communication with now. Because of COVID, you can't speak to somebody. Fill in this form and we might contact you within about a week. Hang on. What? So after going out for a walk, coming back and deciding, hang on a minute, again, this is my game, right? You're going to phone me up. You're going to send me my settlement offer. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. As soon as I did that, and I looked at the clouds and I went, being very specific about what I wanted to receive, the phone rang. Thank you. All of my login details from 10 years ago that I didn't have access to, then all gifted to me. And I was incredibly thankful and grateful to the person who phoned. And again, next thing, check my emails, settlements come through, or an offer that I won't go into details about what it is, but not to say anything's wrong, but a wrongful termination of an old place of contract. But without that, as without every single experience I've had thus far, I would not be where I am or who I am. Again, what appears like jagged rocks, and sometimes that we are about to meet our demise, if only we actually accept the rocks are there and learn how to utilize them to our advantage, then again, we discover the treasures upon the other side and catapult ourselves around it. Before I share this tip, this trick, which some people have seen as bypassing, but I guarantee you it is not, because I know it is all me. I know the forces of repression, separation, and darkness are me. I know I have the ability to destroy, absolutely destroy anything and everything in my path, most specifically me, as well as to love it all in completion through the acceptance of it all. And that's the key to it, is acceptance. I'd like to momentarily, and I'm going to share on the screen, those of you watching on video, as we're actually filming for YouTube, as well as live streaming on Facebook at present. So anybody listening on Facebook, hello. Thank you for tuning in as we venture further down the rabbit hole. Let me know where you are. Let me know what's good. I can't seem to see any comments. I don't know if anybody is commenting. It's showing that people are viewing, but nothing else at present. Let me know. Ah, there we go. Ah, yay. Hello, everyone. USA. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see you. Good to connect. Good to vibe and just spend a moment, that beautiful gift of now together. So, this is where it is incredibly important that we become more mindful of what we focus upon and create, okay? David Icke, anybody listening would have heard of David Icke. He's a phenomenal man who has now obviously been banned from any form of mainstream media connects, banned from YouTube, banned from Twitter, banned from X, Y, and Z because, I guess I'm just going to accept that, because of his opinion, knowing that it's all just an opinion. Everything's an opinion. Nothing is ever really factually true because of the existence or potential existence of infinity. If you test it up to infinity minus 1 times and it comes up blue, let's say, and then the next time you test it, it comes up red, well, it throws the whole equation out of the water. And just between me and you, what I was gifted just a couple of days ago is that gravity, the force called gravity that we have been told weighs us down, this massive force which is incredibly heavy and weighs us down, and we're having to constantly try to stand up against this force that is outside us and that governs us. It's not real. Actually, what is called gravity is a force which uplifts you, which elevates you. Instead of feeling as though you're stood upon the ground, having to keep yourself upright, just know that there is a force coming from the crown of your head that uplifts you. And that the ground beneath your feet is just a holographic representation to allow you to feel as though you are grounded and connected to what is below you. If you start to walk up a hill, really you're just elevating yourself, as though picture yourself on a blank screen, a character on the screen, floating, and you can move the character up and down wherever you want, left and right, side to side. And then you put a ground underneath it, no creation or representation of a ground. If you raise the ground, then all of a sudden half of your legs are under the ground. So that doesn't work, does it? So, okay, so you raise the ground and accordingly the character raises. But actually, it's the character which creates the simultaneous perspective of the holographic universe around it. So as the character that you are chooses to raise, the ground underneath you raises accordingly. So if there has been a belief that there is a hill in front of you because it's been co-created as such within society, as you start to walk up the hill, all you're doing is just raising yourself up on the screen, and then the hill raises underneath you to represent the fact that you are still walking upon something solid, which we know is just energy vibrating. So David Icke has predicted quite a few things that have come true. One of which is the current situation, the global control, the shutdown of free money, as it were, so that they know everything that's being spent, where it's being spent, so that they are trying to keep everybody indoors, working from home, shopping from home, entertaining, connecting, socializing, dating, all from home, all from behind a screen. This is so that they can monitor and have full control over where we are and what we do. Then comes the implementation of microchips and something such as a vaccination passport, which will lead to other passports down the line. And again, if you don't conform, then they just literally turn you off. It's all just digits on a screen. There is no actual money involved anymore. By somebody so powerful with so many lights of attention shone upon him, saying something such as COVID will become a thing, we would then unknowingly co-create the existence and bring it into reality. Okay. Whatever we focus our light of attention upon grows. Again, imagine yourself as the sun. You are the mighty sun, and what you focus your light of attention upon is what grows. Focus it on the positivity and you grow it. Focus it on the negativity and you grow that. Focus it on I'm not sure what's happening. Focus it on something that you wish to experience, such as love in the environment around you. And with enough light shone upon it, we bring it into creation. The reason that the elements, let's still use dark and light. Okay, let's say the reason that the elements of darkness put everything out there in the public eye is because we have to accept it. Now, it has to be accepted by everybody. So if there is only one person left not wearing a mask, which will be me, then I'm still in defiance of it. So it cannot come into completion. If you choose to accept it because it's easier, or if you choose to do nothing, again, you are still accepting it. Picture yourself as a flashlight. The more flashlight shone on any one object, the more it comes into creation, the more energy it holds, the more it becomes materialized. God, the entity that is God, works because there is so much belief in the entity named God. You pray to God, okay, you're a being of unlimited potential. You manifest and create everything you experience, co-created, simultaneous to me. In the game of life, you are character player number one. You're the character on the screen, the avatar self, this being, this person called Kain, or whatever your name is. You have chosen the character with its characteristics, and you have chosen to play whatever game it is that you are playing. In the game, there are various levels to experience, each level having its own boss. When you overcome the boss, you then move to the next level. Okay? If you're still able to keep in mind the fact that you create it all whilst simultaneously experiencing it. So you're the avatar being on the screen, but you're also the person playing the game, the higher self. And you're also the person who's created the whole parameter of the game. Instead of it being a game where you can only move in certain directions, or you get to the edge of the screen and you can't go any further, we have the potential to experience to infinite. There's nothing we cannot experience. If it can be imagined, it can be experienced. If it can be brought into the mind, it can be manifested in the physical. It's just the belief in it that allows it to be materialized once again. So because there are so many flashlights, so much belief held in the entity that is God, when somebody prays to God, they say, God, please, may I have X, Y, or Z? Thank you. And if you believe that you are worthy of receiving it, you've basically given in your order, like going to the restaurant. You order the meal, and then you accept that the waiter's going to take the order to the kitchen and the chef's going to cook it for you and you're going to receive your meal. You just accept that that's what will take place. So you've ordered the meal and then you just sit back and relax, knowing that you're going to be enjoying that meal very soon. What you don't do is go out into the kitchen and go, can we make sure that we've got all those ingredients right? I want this ingredient and that ingredient. I want 2 grams of that and 3 of that. And I want it cooked this way. And I want it presented on this plate in this manner, and et cetera, micromanaging and trying to control it all. We don't also sit there and go, I want my meal. Where's my meal? I want my meal. Maybe after a period of time we might. But again, that is causing upset only to the self. You give your order to God and you accept He will create it and produce it for you. You then sit back, relaxed and open to receive. Beautiful. Again, this is why angels work, because you call in something that is outside of yourself, which is you again, just another higher aspect of you, that then you gift or ask for certain things to take place, and you then allow for it to be experienced. Having to do it yourself, wow, that's far too hard. Again, the devil exists so that we have somebody to blame. Angels exist so we have something that we believe higher than ourselves to ask for assistance and guidance. Everything or nothing at all. You create it or you don't. you're still creating it. If you ask another part of yourself to create it, with the angel, then you're still creating it. It's coming into this realization that really changes the game and allows you to create something just like that. Just as we have co-created the current situation. Because if I was to tell you, and there was a following of 1 million people that believed what I said to be true, if I said to you that next week aliens are going to come and land on Earth and they're going to be here to invade us and conquer us, and you all believed it, and you all focused with fear being one of the strongest vibrations, although it's repressive in nature and it won't ever bring fruit to the tree that it grows, but it will still grow a tree. If you all focused your belief upon that, what are we going to co-create together, people? If we all focus on a world of separation and repression, what are we going to co-create together, people? Come on here, bigger picture. We know it's all part of the game. We know that we are experiencing it simultaneous to co-creating it. So a simple reminder, as I have been reminding myself, is hang on, fuck's sake, man. Remember who you are. Remember what this is. You're the creator of it all. And you're co-creating it simultaneous to experiencing it. It's your game. You can make it however you want to make it. There are certain programs installed upon the hard drive within the mind through previous experiences. That is all part of the game. That is all part of overcoming various levels within the game. But to believe myself to be playing a game I have no control over or direction in, well, I'm victim once again. And even to play victim is to create that character. And if you create yourself the character of being a victim, then you're only going to be able to experience parts of the game that allow you that role to be experienced. If you play a victim, you'll never walk a path of abundance. And if you play a victim, I guarantee you will attract to you everybody to repress you and show you that you're a victim. If you are a creator, embodied and actualized in all ways, guess what? Fucking hell, this is a beautiful game. Look how easy it is for me just to go like that and experience any of it and all of it. Literally today, as soon as I let out that breath, the phone rang with the exact person I wanted to speak to, everything done. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking powerful. Incredibly powerful. Focus on the repression, separation, isolation. That's what we create. With all those lights shone upon God, that's why God exists as an entity in the conscious collective of humanity. That's why God answers your prayers. Just as there is an element called the devil that exists outside you, that is your form of repression and fear, that is something to always be fearful of. Again, why do you think elements of darkness create something to be fearful of, to keep you in a low vibrational frequency so that they can then feed off that low vibrational frequency? Again, darkness likes darkness. If you're shining bright, if you can put out your light, there's more darkness. If you continue to shine bright, that's it. It wouldn't need to be done. Just be acceptant of who you are. So be incredibly, incredibly mindful of what you focus your attention upon. Because truly, if you focus on the fact that you believe that everyone's going to be forcefully implemented with things that they don't wish to experience, then you will create that reality. I don't know which one of you listening to this, knowing that each one of you is me, I'm not sure which one is going to, which version of I, which mask that we have put upon collectively. I don't know which one of you. Yes, you. It is you that is going to change this world. It is you that is going to hold that light and that love within you to build it up to the point that it is just bursting from you. knowing that every single scar that you've experienced in the past is somewhere for the light to escape from, to be able to shine it through you, from you, out to the world around you, to breathe in that universal pranic life force energy. And with full acceptance, surrenderance, just allow it to shine from you. Beautiful. Thank you, man. Co-creating, simultaneous to experiencing. Whatever way you look at it, as a holographic universe principle, as nature embodied, as the universe in completion, whatever way, it's all you. Masculine and feminine. When we become fully harmonized and balanced within it, within ourselves, it's just easy. There is nothing to be done once again. The masculine and the feminine. The river of life, knowing that all rivers lead back to the ocean. Masculine being the channel, feminine being the water. If you have a channel to flow within, then you have a direction and an area to house that body of water, allowing it to flow. The reason that I have this body is so that I can physically experience everything around me. If I was just energy floating around, then I might be the air, I might be the wall, I might be that book. I'd just get created into whatever physical element was around me to create me into that structure. I create that book there because I believe that book's there. So when I open this room and I come in, there's a book there because I've created it, because I believe it to be so. If I believed the fact that I could walk out of the window and float, then I would. But because there is so much around me to suggest otherwise, it takes a point of complete surrenderance to be able to elevate yourself to a new potential. So again, somebody's paralyzed, let's say, any form of miracle gets to the point where people go, no, well, I won't. I will do this because I believe it so. And their belief and their will is so powerful that it overrides everything else. I know the world that we are co-creating as I have seen it. I've been there, and fucking hell, it is beautiful. I have become slightly impatient recently, which is then why I'm being reminded to just enjoy the moment. So again, water, masculine, feminine. If you don't have anywhere for the water to flow, it will just sit on the plane and it will just be absorbed into the surroundings. It won't go anywhere. It won't do anything. By having a channel for the water to flow in, a river, the water can then flow towards a certain destination, back to the ocean. If you pictured it as though the river is creating itself whilst flowing towards that destination, just as you are creating the experience of life simultaneous to experiencing it, as you flow forwards, being the feminine water housed within the masculine structure. Again, this doesn't represent me as a man. This is everybody. Masculine is straight lined. It provides structure, security, safety. Feminine is free flowing, loving, exuberant, artistic in nature. And it flows wherever the wind blows. Masculine is very straight line and likes to go from A to B at the quickest and most direct route. Become too masculine, something blocks your path. I'm going in this direction, whether there's something blocking my path or not. Oh, fuck, I'm stuck. That's where then it becomes acceptant or required. Acceptant for previous generations, but actually required for ours to become feminine in nature, to always have that femininity, to be able to skip over an obstacle or move around it joyfully, as opposed to feeling as though I plan to go on this route and I will go on this route no matter what, even if I become stuck and hindered in my direction. Again, you are co-creating the direction simultaneous to experiencing it. It is the feminine which actually churns away the earth around it to create the direction that the masculine holds, whilst holding the direction and creating the direction that the feminine then creates simultaneous. And I know I can see it in my head. It's difficult to put into words. There's a river, and then it just ends, and around it is just land. The ocean is in the distance. As the water hits up to or washes up to the part of land in front of it that is not yet created as a river, the water is what actually eats away at the land. It then creates this space and structure, which the masculine is, and the masculine holds that space and structure for the feminine to flow within and to create. It takes both parts existing in harmony and balance to be able to go upon that journey. If you become too masculine, then the riverbed becomes dry. If you become too feminine, there is nowhere for the water to flow within, and it just disperses over whatever area you're within. Women can become very, very focused upon something, but find it difficult to bring it into creation. And men can become very, very focused on something and find it difficult to bring it into creation, because the man will not move off of his chosen course, and the women maybe will not create a chosen course. It requires both parts of you. Just as you are the angel and the devil, just by accepting the light and the dark, you can utilize the light and the dark, knowing that in the darkness is where the stars shine. And where, if you do ever end up in darkness, in a state of deep rest, depression, if you spend a while there and you fully surrender yourself, then you will discover the direction that the light is coming from. The light's always there. We're just not really sure what direction it's coming from, because it's all around us. When you go into complete darkness, you can go, oh, it's coming from over there. Okay, let me travel that way, see what's over there, see what I discover. I haven't got anything else to lose. I haven't got anything else to do. Given up on everything that I previously believed to be true. I'm free. So, next time, and this is not bypassing if you do it correctly, next time somebody tells you something as a potential, or you have a thought of something in the future as a potential, let's use me as an example again, because I will always share my truth and my experiences with you, hoping that you can relate to them and reflect upon them. I'm all about freedom, not putting anything into this that does not match it, that will lower it in vibration, this being my body. I'm not going to be putting anything in myself that does not work or is not required. If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? I have two beautiful children. Their mother is very much in the mind frame that the government is there to protect you and to keep you safe, and you should follow their instructions, even if they don't make sense. And that if they've brought out something to put inside yourself, I've already used the word, probably used the word. I've used COVID, but the V word is the one video that I've had silenced and repressed on YouTube, although it is on Instagram. So if you want to discover how to actually overcome anything negative put in your body, how to turn poison into love, then head over to the YouTube, Instagram channel, Cosmic Surfer. There is a potential future where any given number of events can come to be. There's a potential future where my children are forcefully vaccinated against my will. If I was to focus on the fact that my ex-wife is going to vaccinate my children behind my back without my consent, then I will focus my light of attention upon it and grow it to the exclusion of everything else. I know this because I've done it in the past. Focus on something negative and you will grow it. Focus on the weeds in the garden, ignoring the flowers, and you grow them. You're the mighty sun. What you focus on grows. Yes, accept the weeds are there. Accept it's a potential to be experienced, but you don't then have to focus on them and grow them. Accept the rocks are there, but don't travel towards them if the winds are not blowing you in that direction anyway. Again, if you're watching this on Facebook, the winds of life, I talked about at the start of the episode. So it's a very, very powerful analogy, and I strongly suggest you go back and watch it. It's utilizing everything in this experience that we call life and creating it to our advantage. So when I had the conversation and then the image of potential creation come to mind of my children being switched off through the implementation of this wonderful, wonderful medication that they have brought out to keep us all safe. Yeah. Just as I know that Google is a wonderful organization that is there for the enrichment and betterment of humanity. Along with all the other corporate organizations and monkeys or puppets on a string, if you like. So what I did was I looked at it and I said, okay, this is so big a potential or event to me that is going to become something that I focus upon because my ego is so invested in it. When we're more invested in something egoically, it becomes more of a part of our reality. If you don't mind something, it doesn't matter, right? Without the mind, there is no matter. It's just energy vibrating. It's only the mind which then incorporates through the senses or the ability to perceive the fact that this is solid and that I even exist. Without the mind, none of it exists. And if we don't mind something, it doesn't matter. Therefore, we don't bring it into matter. It doesn't become created in the physical. So by not minding it, it doesn't come to be. So what we do, again, some people see this as a bypass. There's only two people I've discussed this with that could actually see what I was given, because it's difficult sometimes. There you go. I've just limited my ability to share this information by using that limiting word. It's easy for me to share this information with you, and you will receive it in the exact way that you are able to receive it so that you can utilize it, embody it, and adopt it to the benefit of yourself as well as everybody else. So say I, and so it fucking is. And remember, you're loved as you are love itself. Whenever something comes to mind that is not reality, when you are fearful of something that could potentially be at a moment in the future, a moment of now that is yet to be experienced, to be fearful of my children becoming vaccinated, again, I would then focus my light of attention upon it and potentially grow it. Because I minded it, I would mind it, I would create it. I would bring it into matter, into physical. By acceptance of everything, by accepting everything in completion, the past, the present, and the future, the good, the bad, and the ugly in me as well as everywhere else. By accepting it all, I'm free from it all. None of it matters. Without the mind, again, it does not matter. So what I do is I know that within the infinite potential of reality, there is an infinite number of me's, across an infinite number of realms of existence, experiencing an infinite number of things. There's a me that is living in a castle. There's a me that is living on the street. There is a me that is a narcissistic, repressive, vindictive, murdering arsehole. And there's a me that lives in a monastery. And all I do all day is pray. There's a multitude of other ones. There's infinite other ones. Okay. So if there's something that becomes potential in the ability for you to experience, to create, then you go, okay, my children will become vaccinated against my will. I accept that as a potential reality. I accept that as a potential reality. Just not the one that I am going to experience. I accept it as a potential reality. There is a version of me that will experience the forced vaccination of my children against my will. There is a version of me that will experience that because it's potential. I must allow it as potential. Again, I'm everything or nothing. There is the ability to experience everything or nothing. If you defy one element, one aspect of yourself, the devil, the bad, the dark, or something you don't wish to experience, if you try to repress it and can keep it away, in the darkness of your mind, it will defy you and undermine you and control you. By bringing it into the light, by bringing it into acceptance, by shining your light of acceptance upon it, it's gone. So I accept that there is a version of me that would experience that. Just as there is a version of me that would experience not bringing into creation the world of liberation that I am here to lay the foundation for and help co-create. The version of me sat here that I am able to physically experience moment upon moment, the version of me that is speaking to the version of you within this realm that we have labeled 3D, but could be whatever label we wish to attach to it. If enough of us believed it, then it will be so. This version is going to lay the foundation, is laying the foundation towards a world of true equality and harmony. My children are beautiful, healthy, and happy in all ways. I am the universe in completion, unlimited in my power, knowledge, and ability to manifest. And I'm on a journey of discovery to help to expand the consciousness of not only myself, but everybody else, to bring true harmony and balance to the self, as well as everybody else, to liberate humanity from itself and create a world of harmony, of light, of love for everybody to experience. It can be seen as bypassing. Oh, that's potential. Yeah, I'm going to ignore it and let that other version of me experience it. That's not it at all. I'm accepting the fact that it is a potential reality, because if I am in defiance of a potential, I'm in defiance of it all. I accept its potential and I allow it to be experienced in another realm of existence. This only works with future elements. If something has existed in the past, it does not work. If it exists now, it does not work. It only works with future potentials, because again, where you are upon your journey is where you are. The direction that you then focus your light of attention upon and grow, the direction you focus your ship towards and sail, the direction that the river is flowing towards, and actually churning away the land to create the channel for it to flow within, that is your creation. Focus your light of attention upon the light, the love, and the positivity, the optimism in every situation. Give every single person around you the opportunity to be the best they can be, to show you a version of themselves that maybe you didn't realize existed. If you believe that somebody is going to be negative, then they will always be negative. If you believe that they are capable of experiencing and actually sharing whatever they want within the multitude, the infinite potential of experiences, then again, that is what you'll be. It's you, my friend. You are the salvation, the liberation. You, this whole we're waiting for Jesus to be reincarnated and walk amongst us. I am Jesus. You are Jesus. Jesus is just a label that was attached to a very, very powerful being of old that realized the truth of who he is. I am the Son of God. I am the Father, are one. The angel and the devil do not sit upon your shoulder whispering to you. They are part of you. And they whisper within you, yes. So it's up to you which voice that you allow to guide you, knowing that you have choice at all times. If you've become more familiar with listening to the devil's voice, if you've become more familiar with a belief that you are controlled or that you're victimized because of your upbringing or the events of old, then please reach out to me, because I have a multitude of very, very powerful and easy to utilize workshops and courses, all for free, because I can, because this is who I am, because I've been there where I've felt controlled and victimized. And I've dipped my toe into it again recently with the knowledge that one of the biggest repressors of my life will soon become free. And again, I know you're going to listen to all this one day, Dad. And even if you don't, I don't mind because it doesn't matter. But I'm going to share my truth anyway. My vision or my repressor of life has always been my father. And I spoke to him for the first time in about a month, a few days ago, told him that the voice in my head was calling me a worthless, useless little piece of shit. A stupid cunt is the main thing that repeats over and over. And he's like, well, it's only your voice. So shut up. And I was like, actually, it's your voice. It's always been your voice. And instantly he changed the topic and just didn't choose to even acknowledge it. It's acknowledgement, which is key, acceptance, which is key. Somebody says that you have hurt them in the past, accept it. That's their version and perception of reality. Might not be yours, but it's theirs, so it exists. So you must honor their version of reality in order to have yours acknowledged and respected for what it is. Some people think it's right to eat meat, some people don't. Which one's right? No, they both are, and they're both wrong at the same time. You are everything in completion and nothing at all. You are the most important being in the universe, as without you, the universe does not exist for you to experience. And at the same time, you're meaningless. It really doesn't matter. If the universe, if your life ended now, wouldn't matter. There'd be certain people that it would affect, but carry that down the line, it wouldn't really matter. And if the universe in completion came to an end now, it wouldn't matter, because there would be nothing to experience that energy as matter anymore. It's all energy vibrating at different frequencies. You are your unique frequency of the same pool of information, of potential experience and creation as I am. I am purple in color, which relates to a very specific frequency. I'm a very specific shade of purple. Other people that are similar frequencies of purple, frequencies of vibrational matter, energy, I will resonate with more harmonically. Somebody who is green, mix green and purple, they don't really go together. And I used to try to be red because I was trying to be accepted and liked or wanted by that same person that has always been that element of repression. Until I fully address, which I am currently doing, writing letters and doing lots and lots of inner child work, parenting that little child that was told that he was a stupid cunt or to shut up and he was useless or worthless or meaningless or whatever it was. Parent yourself, love yourself, free yourself, liberate yourself, knowing that it is your game, that you are not only the experiencer of it, but the creator of it, as well as playing it. Playing the game, just like you play a computer game, the character on the screen, thinking that it's existing in this game of life. That's the avatar, the egoic self. You're the higher self playing it. And when you're ready to overcome certain levels, your higher self will take you to that point in the game. And your ego, your egoic self might go, no, I don't want to go in there. That's scary. I remember going in there before I failed. I fell over and it was all dark and cold and scary. I don't want to go in there. And your higher self will guide you, push you sometimes, kicking and screaming if necessary, into that area of the game so that you can overcome that boss and move to the next level. Knowing that you've chosen to be here, to experience it all, to co-create a world of liberation and harmony for all. And that, again, in truth, none of it really matters. If humanity is to be free, so be it. If humanity is to be controlled and enslaved, so be it. I am here to observe, to watch, to experience, to learn, to grow, to laugh, to sing, to dance, and to love. To love each and every moment, as well as each and every being, entity, part of the whole. Beautiful. Whatever topic of conversation that you would like addressed next in the next episode, please let us know. Contact me, connect with us on all the socials, Cosmic Surfer, Cosmic with a K. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, then I strongly suggest you go over and watch the Modern Day Mindfulness series, because on there is a full journey from the moment of depression, let's say, the ego death, right through to awakening, understanding the ego, etc., through a journey of what we've been discussing today, but in a more materialistic way. So first of all, you acknowledge something exists. If you don't acknowledge there is something blocking your path, you can't overcome it. You acknowledge it, and then you accept it. And then you go about learning from it, learning how to overcome it, learning to utilize certain information or materials around you. If you can't move around the tree because it's too large and you have to cut through it, then borrow the chainsaw off the person who's just told you they've got a chainsaw. Don't go about trying to cut through it with your handsaw, etc., etc. And then coming back into a place of authority, knowing that you are not only the author of your book, whilst also then reading the book, but you are leaving that book behind for others to read. You are sharing that information for the benefit of everybody. And everything you do is for everyone. But most importantly, it is for you. Everything I do is for you. You being the universe, you being you listening now. And again, most importantly, you being me, because without me, none of it exists. I'm not able to do any of this if I don't put myself first. I'm not able to give anything unless I first fill my own cup. Anybody listening, and for those of you watching, please head over to the portal. The ambassadors of light.info. Become official ambassador of the light. And as a representation of something that is on the site, there is the free anxiety course. I suffered massively from anxiety, and that is why I now do everything I do, literally, so that I can help to free others from the same feeling of repression that I was once experiencing myself. Not using the normal. Okay, let's open this one. Anybody listening, bear with me. Again, I'm learning as I go. And that's part of the reason that the programs of old have started coming up, because I'm creating something that I'm not fully aware of how to do. I'm doing it all through divine guidance and learning as I go, stumbling around in the dark maybe, and just happening upon what it is that is being created. With that said, that's the reason that I then feel potentially less than able, and that voice of old has started to come up and to tell me I'm a worthless, useless piece of shit because I'm doing something I don't really understand how to do. But that's how we learn. That's how we grow. And that's why it's all here to be experienced. Okay, so this is the portal feed, the chat. It's likened to a Facebook chat. You can post anything you wish to post, and please do so. Please share all of your information, all of your wisdom, and use it as a place to connect and to share your story, to help to inspire somebody else, and to be able to just share, because the more that we share, the more we realize it is just a story. And then within the topics of the feed, there is going to be a multitude of different portals that you can then congregate within. Divine Masculine, Kings Unite, Divine Feminine, Queens United, and Mental Health Awareness at present, as well as just the standard feed chat. Again, on the actual website, there is lots of very, very powerful courses to utilize, workshops to work through, and they're all set up to allow the receivance of it in the most beneficial way. So some of them are released daily so that you can do it over a period of a week. Some are released so that you can do it as and when you feel most beneficial to do so. The anxiety one is set so that it keeps you at a state of focus so that you do one every day. And then let's say the energy mastery course, which is incredibly in depth and only actually accessible once you've done one of the other courses, that's released so that you can do it as and when you want. Maybe over a weekend, maybe over a month. It's entirely up to you. The information housed in the portal is protected because, again, if it falls into the wrong hands, the elements of darkness, to use the label darkness once again, to bring completion to today's episode, they have all the secrets to reality that we are accessing and utilizing ourselves. They do it to the benefit of the single self. That is why they will never be victorious. Everything they do is for the single entity of I. Everything that we do is for the collective I. That is why we will always win, because there is more of us. Whether they cast the illusion that we are victims upon us or not, we will always shine bright. The sun is always shining. We just cannot see it at some times because it is the other side of the world or behind a cloud. Keep shining bright. Keep being truthful to who you are. And know that if you're too bright for someone, and if you burn someone or blind them, that's on them. Do not lower or limit your light. Do not cover your ability to express yourself, to smile, to share your love and your perspective with somebody else. The sun doesn't mind if it burns someone, it just shines. And in doing so, it brings life to countless beings around this world. If it didn't shine, not only would it not be the sun, but you, my friend, would not be listening to this, and there would be no chance to co-create Unity One. Thank you, as always, for being part of my journey, as I am part of yours, for being part of this beautiful adventure that we are co-creating. I love you all. And as I say, please reach out if there is any topic of conversation or any guests that you would like to invite upon the station. Now and forever, we are in this together. United we stand. And together we rise. Love, light, and infinite blessings. And until next time, stay positive, stay mindful, and stay in connection to the truth of who you are. Not only the experiencer, also the co-creator and liberator of humanity as a whole. I love you, and I am deeply, deeply grateful for everything you do. Namaste. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.